Good day everyone. So today I'll be discussing one of the genitourinary disease, which is the HIV or AIDS. But before that, I'll have prepared a icebreaker for you, everyone. But since it's conducting through online, we will proceed on the next slide. So in this report, we will discuss about the causative agent, mode of transmission, pathogenesis and clinical manifestation, laboratory diagnosis, treatment, and prevention. So now we talk about the HIV or what is HIV or AIDS. So HIV it stands for human immunodeficiency virus. So it infects and destroys cells of our immune system, making it hard to fight off other diseases. So we all know naman na yung immune system is yung panlaban ng katawan natin laban sa mga sakit. At dahil sa HIV, nagiging mahina yung katawan natin na labanan yung sakit sa iba't ibang uri ng mga infection. However naman sa acquired immune deficiency syndrome or yung AIDS, it is the most advanced stage of HIV infection where the immune system becomes severely weakened, leading to opportunistic infection and certain cancer. So we all know that opportunistic infection are illness caused by the microorganism like bacteria, viruses, fungi, or a parasite that are usually don't make healthy people sick, but they are advantage of weakened immune system like someone with having HIV or AIDS. So HIV have a two main types. So first is HIV-1. It is the most common type in worldwide. It is spread more easily and progresses faster without treatment, and it has many subtypes or group like group N, which is the major group, which is further divided into subtypes like A, B, C, or etc. In HIV 2 naman, it is a type which is less common and mostly found in certain regions like West Africa. So, hindi dito gaano kadaling nakakahawa kumpara sa HIV-1. So, at mas mabagal din yung paglala ng sakit sa mga taong mayroong HIV-2. For the causative agent, so HIV and AIDS is a disease of human system caused by the human immunodeficiency virus, and HIV is belong to a group of retrovirus that primarily infects components of the human immune system such as CD4 plus T cells, macrophages, and dendritic cells. It also member of the genus Lentivirus, part of the family of Retroviridae. For the mode of transmission, first is the vertical transmission. We all know that it is the mother to child transmission. So it happened during pregnancy, childbirth, or breastfeeding. Next is blood transfusion. So HIV can be transmitted if person receive blood from someone who has HIV, and however, nowadays, blood is strictly tested before transfusion, so this kind of transmission is very rare. Next is sharing needles. So using the same needle or syringe with another person can spread HIV, especially among sa mga gumagamit ng illegal drugs and share injection equipment. Next is organ transplant. So if someone receive an organ from HIV positive donor, the virus can be transmitted. But just like with blood, organs are carefully tested before transplant procedures. Last is sexual contact. So this is the most common way HIV is transmitted. It can happen through unprotected vaginal, anal, or oral sex with an infected person. So the risk increases if there are open wounds or sexually transmitted infection or tinatawag na STIs. So HIV or AIDS is not transmitted through casual contact like hugging, kissing, sharing food, or from mosquito bites because the virus cannot survive outside the body or be spread through air, water, and saliva. So sa saliva, there is no risk unless both people have large open sores or bleeding gums and exchange blood na maglilid sa transmission ng HIV. Next is the pathogenesis. So we have seven life cycle ng pathogenesis ng HIV. So first is binding attachment. So HIV looks for a special type of immune cells called CD4 cells, which is a type of white blood cells. So on the outside of these cells, there is a receptors So HIV has a special key that fits these locks. So when it finds the right cells, it attaches itself to the receptors. Next is diffusion. So once na na-attach na siya, HIV will join with the CD4 cells outer the layer, and then HIV can enter the cells. Third is reverse transcription. So inside the cell, HIV is carrying its genetic material as RNA, but the CD4 cells reads DNA, not RNA. So HIV use a special enzyme called reverse transcriptase to change its RNA into DNA. So this new HIV DNA can now be used by the cell. Next is the integration. So now that HIV has DNA, it moves into the nucleus of the CD4 cells, which is the control center. So HIV uses another enzyme called integrase to insert its DNA into the cell's DNA. It becomes a permanent part of the cell's instructions. Next is the replication. So now that the HIV is part of the cell's DNA, the CD4 start following HIV instructions instead of its own. So it begins to make a copies of HIV's proteins and genetic material, which is the part of HIV needs to build more viruses. So next is the assembly. So this new HIV part, which is the proteins and RNA, gather at the surface of the CD4 cells and start building a new viruses particles. But at this stage, they are not ready to infect other cells. So last is the budding. So the immature HIV particles push out of the CD4 cells in the process called budding. So as they leave another enzyme called protease, it finishes the processes the protein so the viruses becomes mature and infections, which is ready to infect more CD4 cells. So for the clinical manifestation, there are three stages, which is acute, clinical latency, or chronic stage, and AIDS. So for the first stage, HIV infection, people have a large amount of HIV in their blood and are very contagious. Within 2 to 4 weeks after an infection with HIV, about two-thirds of people will have flu-like symptoms such as yung fever, sore throat, swollen lymph nodes, muscle aches, night sweat, mouth ulcers, chills, and fatigue. For the second stage naman, it is a chronic HIV infection. So it also called asymptomatic HIV infection or clinical latency. So HIV is still active and continues to reproduce in the body, and people may not have any symptoms or get sick during this phase but can transmit HIV. And without HIV treatment, people can stay in this stage for 10 or 15 years, but some move through this stage faster. For the so this the symptoms during the clinical latency stage, such as the swollen lymph nodes, recurrent fever, fatigue, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, weight loss, skin rash, recurrent oral or vaginal yeast infection, pneumonia, and shingles. So for the last stage, it is the AIDS. It is the most severe stage of HIV infection. So people receive an AIDS diagnosis with their CD4 cell count drops below 200 cells per milliliter of blood, or they develop certain illnesses, sometimes called opportunistic infections. So people with AIDS can have a high viral load and may easily transmit HIV to others, and they can get increasing number of other serious illness without HIV treatment. People with AIDS typically survive about 3 years, or it can lead death. So here the symptoms of stage 3, which is AIDS: recurrent fever, chronic swollen lymph glands, chronic fatigue, night sweat, sore spot or lesions of the mouth and tongue, genitals or anus, bumps, lesions or rashes of the skin, recurrent or chronic diarrhea, and rapid weight loss. So here the summary that show the table that different description of each stage and also the unique symptoms. So for the laboratory diagnosis of HIV or AIDS symptom is done by several types of tests, and these tests, as stated below, check the blood or other fluids for HIV or AIDS diagnosis. So for antibody test, it is an antibody test looks for antibodies to HIV in your blood or oral fluid. So it is most rapid test and the only HIV self-test approved by the US Food and Drug Administration or yung FDA. So antibody tests that use a blood from vein that can detect HIV sooner than tests done with blood from a finger stick or with oral fluid. So for the antigen or antibody test, so this test naman recommended for testing done in labs and are common in the United States. So this test involves drawing blood or pagkuha ng blood, and there is also a rapid antigen antibody test available that is done with blood from a finger stick. Next will be the nucleic acid test. So this look for the actual virus in the blood, and a healthcare provider will draw blood or kumukuha ng blood and send the sample to a laboratory for testing. So this test can tell if a person has HIV or how much viruses is present in the blood o yung tinatawag na HIV viral load test. So it can detect HIV sooner than other types of tests, and this test should be considered for people who have had a recent exposure or possible exposure and have early symptoms of HIV and who have is tested negative with an antibody or antigen test. So for the treatment, there is currently no cure for HIV or AIDS, but there are treatment options that can slow the progression of HIV. So um, antiretroviral therapy or ART is a combination of medication that reduce the viral load in the body, preventing the virus from damaging the immune system. So here the types of medications. So as you can see, yung each seven life cycle na stage na dito makikita yung mga medication na possible sa kada life cycle. So for the binding, ginamitan ng entry inhibitors, and one of the example na medication is Maraviroc fostemsavir. So it is block HIV from entering the host cells by preventing the virus from binding to the cell surface. So for the fusion naman, ginamitan naman ng fusion inhibitors. So one of the example ng medication niya is Infovertide, which is prevent the HIV envelope from fusing with the CD4 cells membrane na nag-prevent ng virus from entering the cells. For the transcription, we have nucleoside reverse transcriptase inhibitors and non-nucleoside reverse transcriptase inhibitor. So pinagkaiba lang nila sa nucleoside reverse transcriptase inhibitors, it prevent HIV from converting its RNA into DNA. However naman dun sa non-nucleoside reverse transcriptase, it binds to and inhibit the reverse transcriptase enzyme and is stopping the conversion of the RNA to DNA. So for the integration naman, ginamitan naman siya ng integrase strand transfers inhibitors, na one of the example na medication dito is dolutegravir and raltegravir. So it blocks the HIV enzyme integrase na nag-prevent ng viral DNA from integrating into the host cell's DNA. Next is the assembly na ginamitan naman ng capsid inhibitors, and one of the example ng medication niya is lenacapavir. So it disrupts the capsid, a protein shell that encases the viral RNA that prevented the virus from assembly properly. Last is the budding, which is used the protease inhibitors. So one of the example na medication dito is darunavir and ritonavir. So it inhibits the protease enzyme which is needed to cut newly formed viral proteins into their active forms. So here the prevention. So I'll make gumawa ko ng acrostic with acrostic words ng prevention ng HIV. So first is the practice safe sex by using protection. So using condoms during sex is one of the most effective ways to prevent the spread of HIV. And we all know that condoms acts as barrier, keeping the virus from passing between partners during sexual contact. Next is regular testing and screening. So it is important to get tested for HIV regularly, especially if you are at higher risk. Early detection allows for quicker treatment and reduces the chance of unknowingly transmitting the virus to others. Next is educate yourself and others about HIV transmission. So learning about HIV, how it spread, how to protect yourself and understanding the science behind it. So it helps reduce the stigma surrounding this virus. So educating yourself and others promotes better preventions and safer practices. Next is vaccinate against related infections. Example is yung hepatitis B. So while there is no HIV vaccine yet, getting vaccinated against other infections like hepatitis B so can help protect your overall health. Some vaccine can also make it less likely to develop complication if you have HIV. Next is the early treatment. So if you do get diagnosed with HIV, starting treatment early is important. So HIV medication such as yung sinabi kong antiretroviral treatment, it can keep the virus under control, lower the viral load to undetectable levels and prevent transmission to others. So next is never engage in a protected sex with unknown partners and take PrEP or yung pre-exposure prophylaxis if at high risk and then immediate seek medical care if exposed to HIV or yung PEP and then observe proper hygiene and health practices and nurture a supported and stigma-free community. So dito, living with HIV can be challenging emotionally and mentally, and having a strong support system from family, friends, or healthcare professional, it can help individuals manage their condition and stick treatment plans and stay healthy. So here the difference between the post-exposure prophylaxis and pre-exposure prophylaxis. So pagdating sa post-exposure prophylaxis, ito yung medicine na nag-prevent ng HIV after ng possible exposure. So it must be started within 72 hours or 3 days and after a recent possible exposure to HIV. However naman sa pre-exposure prophylaxis naman, it is medicine or pills or shots na tinitik natin through oral that reduce your chance of getting HIV. So I have prepared quiz regarding on this topic so you can answer this assessment. So it have a 10 multiple choice items so you can answer this. So that's all my report. So I hope you have learned about HIV and AIDS and that's all. Thank you.